On the third Sunday of Advent, we wear pink. Actually, it's rose, because Jesus didn't pink from the dead, he rose from the dead. It was a joke I saw on the internet. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for keeping me accountable. It's just been a crazy past couple of weeks with finals rolling around, and that's just been what's taking up my plate. So that's why I haven't posted anything, but here we are. Here you are, here I am. Today's topic is prayer. So a lot of us just got finished with finals. I'm pretty sure everyone's done by now with finals. But a lot of us got done with finals, and if you're like me, finals was crazy. A lot of us are heading back home, and we're going back to our home lives, and everything's gonna get a little less busy than it was in the semester. Most of us are a part of some form of a CSA, a Catholic Student Association on our campus, or some of us might be thinking about joining one. So with that, we have our accountability people, people that we maybe usually go to Mass with, people that we usually hang out with that usually keep us accountable to help us keep growing in our faith. But as we go home and we transition back home, that's a little bit more harder sometimes, since our home lives might look a little different, or sometimes we just get lazy. I get lazy. I am a lazy kind of person. So things change, and things have been changing since we were taking our finals, and our life looks a lot different. So, in saying that, our prayer life could also change. Our prayer life, maybe during finals week, looks really dwindled down, really thin, really small, less frequent, because our mind is consumed with like studying, or even just going back home for the break, over the Christmas break. We do less things. We stay at home, and or at least my days are mostly spent at home, and we do nothing, and we fall in the trap of doing nothing, or not wanting to do anything. So also our prayer life kind of looks a little different as well. I heard once from this Catholic talk, I'm not sure who it was, or if it was a talk, or if it was a vlog, or if it was a podcast, but if you know, please let me know. It was from this person who said that so oftentimes we get down on not praying enough, not praying as much as we used to in X day, and that we get so down about it because we're not doing what we were doing. But then we fail to realize that our life has changing circumstances, meaning that our life doesn't look the same as it did maybe when we were at our highest in prayer. It looks a little like, so that, for instance, that might be, like for me, before finals week, my prayer life was like, whoa, like I was more consistent with it. I'm not saying it was like I'm amazing. No, of course not. But my prayer life was more consistent than it was during finals week. During finals week, it was just like a quick, like at the end of the day, kind of just like, thank God for this day, and then I like crash out, and go to sleep. But our prayer life looks different because our lives change, and I think this person also talked about like the different vocations, like, when your prayer life looks a lot different than like when you're in your single life. It's just you and God. So you have more time to do things. Whereas like your prayer life as a mother or as a father, or like in a vocation of like parenthood, it looks a lot different, because when you have kids and you take them here, you take them there, and your prayer life's going to look a lot different, because your time is not just filled up with stuff that you have to do, but also stuff you have to do with your kids as well, or even like just anything really. So our prayer life always changes. In saying that, we have to remember that our prayer life looks changes, therefore our prayers should reflect that. I'm going to read this little bit for you, and just tell you what it says. So I had the same struggle a few months back, towards like the summer, and yeah, it was just not good. So this is what I said in my journal. It says, this is my prayer. So it just says, like, basically I was beating up myself for not being able to take the time out of my schedule to physically go to God, or daily mass, or adoration, or even more so when I finally had free time, I took it I took naps instead of praying. And I was just really upset at myself because I felt like I wasn't doing all I could do. But during this time, I also was going through doing a lot of things. So when I did have free time, I wanted to sleep. And I was kind of just like beating myself up about it. And God kind of gave me this realization that was like, so this is what it says. So it says, it does matter to be physically with you and to physically go with you. What matters more is where our hearts are. I think I was the barricade to you because I couldn't realize that, but through you, I now see that. My heart must be for you, and the rest of me will follow suit. And I think when our prayer life changes, we forget that. We feel like we have to do all these amazing things. We have to go to daily mass, we have to go to adoration, we have to go this, we have to do that, we have to like fill our life with like prayer, and in order for it to be amazing and look amazing. But that's not the fact. The fact is where our hearts are, because we can do all these amazing things and we can be all these amazing things, but the truth is, at the end of the day, if you're doing all these amazing things but it doesn't help you grow closer to God, then what are you doing it for? But if we change that and our hearts are longing for God and they want to grow closer to God, then that's totally different, because your heart desires it, and it's not a bunch of actions that you are checking off your to-do list to signify your prayer life is going swell. So we have to remember that our heart must conform to follow God, even in our changing circumstances. And as long as that follows suits, then we're pretty solid. We get so conflicted with not praying as much as we used to, or we're praying too little, that we forget that God's only asking for our heart, and all of us. In every single thing that we do, He's asking for our hearts. And I will definitely agree that once my heart did change, from the summer till now, once my heart desired more on my relationship with God and not how much of X amount of Catholic things like I could do in order to fulfill my form of prayer life, then I definitely noticed a change in my heart, and that I did grow closer to my relationship in God. So in going back home and being on break, and after just finishing finals, our prayers life is going to look a lot different. But that's okay. What matters is not doing all these amazing things, but is who we do it for. Are we doing it just to say, hey, I did all these things and I think my prayer life is going excellent? Or are we actually turning our hearts to God and wanting to focus more on this relationship with Him? Of course, it doesn't give you an excuse to just stop where you are in your prayer life and be like, I'm a little too busy, I don't need to pray. No. Prayer is a good thing. You can't give what you don't have. And if you don't have it, how can you give it away? And if you think about it, in the Bible, I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but in the Bible, it even says that Jesus retreated from His disciples and went on top of the mountain to pray to God. And I mean, even he had to go himself and go enclosed in a form of prayer with God and just spend time with Him. Even though he was like this busy guy ministering to many people, and just wanting people to come closer to God. So even Jesus, He knew in His busy life that on earth He still needed to replenish Himself, and turn to God even in His busy life to fuel Himself, because He couldn't give what He didn't have. And if God wasn't in the center of His prayer, then what was He doing His ministry for? Of course, it's Jesus, and that's a totally different story. But He knew that God is an important aspect of everything that we do, and everything that we should do stems forth from that. So yeah, that's my little pro tip on prayer. I hope you guys are having a great remaining week until winter break. Oh, one more thing before I forget. So I've been thinking about having a winter break Bible study, and I think I will pray more about it, but prayer, but I think I will do those every Wednesday, and I will upload that. I'm not sure how to do it yet, so that's what I also have to pray about, whether it should be a live YouTube thing, or I should just do like a lesson, but that's kind of boring. It's better if there's like feedback, but yeah. If you have an idea on how I should do this, let me know. I'd be so thrilled to know. But yeah, that's all from me. Stay holy, my friends, and may the force be with you. See you later.